Are Chelsea using GTA cheat codes? How do they do it? How are they so good at selling? How do they come off the back of meaty seasons and somehow still be spawning in trophies? Or every club worries about projects and doing things the right way, these man's DNA is just winning at all costs. João Felix has just been sold after being loaned in, loaned back, bought for 50 M's, loaned out again, and somehow they've managed to find a way to get Al Nassr to go pay money for him. Is it Alan Sugar behind these negotiations or what? Like, I don't get it. I'm hearing Ishe Samuel Smith for 6.5 M's to Strasbourg. Guys, what are we doing here? Who is that brother? And how are we manipulating these numbers to balance the books for Strasbourg, who just happen to be intertwined with Chelsea? Hey, Strasbourg, be careful though, because Chelsea's last feeder club, Vitesse, just lost their license. So let's go over the last 20 years and see if this club needs to be placed under surveillance. So obviously we go back to 04. Jose's won the Champions League with Porto. He arrives at Chelsea. Roman's here. Then man start splashing the cash. Be it on players that are from foreign leagues or tapping up players like Ashley Cole. Their man came in like hungry sharks and it worked. They were dominating the league. For the first time, Fergie was sat like that because he hadn't won for years. Because obviously, we had the Arsenal Invincibles, then we had Chelsea winning and winning it again. Some could argue the football wasn't very fun to watch, but at the end of the day, if you're a Chelsea fan, who cares? The trophies are more important. But there was one trophy that eluded them the entire time. Of course, the Champions League. We saw John Terry slip against United. And no matter what they tried to do, even when they came and started playing exciting football in like 09-10, it still wouldn't arrive. Until 2012. This is why I'm so confused. Because again, Chelsea fans should not be offended by what I'm about to say. Because realistically, who cares? Everyone else, you should be saying, shush, charge it. But guys, 2012 was the worst Champions... At that time, the worst Champions League winners ever. I think it's okay to say that because it doesn't matter. There's no sign on your Wikipedia or on the trophy that has an asterisk saying, oh, by the way, you were really bad. But listen, although the likes of, Drogba, Lampard, Terry, they deserve a Champions League for what they did from 05 to 2010, let's be honest. They were all relatively washed. They were not doing very well in the league. It obviously relied on a Fernando Torres miracle moment that had Gary Neville going crazy. He couldn't believe what was happening. But nevertheless, the Champions League has been won. You literally had to sack Andre Villas-Boas. I remember, I've been on Twitter a long time, Hashtag AVB out, AVB out. They got rid of him. Di Matteo pulls up and somehow wins the Champions League. What is that? Then before you know it, splashing the cash on the big names, turned to investing in the academy, and these guys spawned one of the most legendary academy teams you'll ever see. Ask guys that used to kick ball and they will look at you with fear in their eyes when speaking about Chelsea from around 2014, 15, 16. But in the Premier League, these men were finishing 10th. These guys were getting in trouble for how they were dealing with the entire Gael Kakuta situation. And what do you know? The year after finishing 10th, bam! Antonio Conte comes in, wins the league on his first attempt. Are these men playing this game on easy mode? How can you be this fortunate? Bearing in mind they had just won the league a couple years before. It's like they're just some brothers who were like, you know what, yeah, we're going to win a trophy this year. Next year, we're good, thanks. We're going to have a year off. And then next year, they're just good again. There's no gradual progression. There's no slow improvements. You'd think it ends there. Obviously, we've now got Eden Hazard in the club. And he is carrying a team that's now lost all of its leaders that were kind of dominating in the mid-2000s, early 2010s. So it's pretty much Hazard and friends. And they cannot win the Champions League. They don't win another league. And he leaves the club for well over 100 million to go to Real Madrid. But guess what? Remember when I said 2012 Chelsea was the worst team to ever win the Champions League? I'm talking back since the Champions League was invented and Real Madrid was stat padded from 1956 onwards, for those of us who remember. Well, another team surpassed them. Chelsea's second Champions League. Again, do not be offended by what I'm saying because realistically, who cares? If you ask a Charlton fan or something, hey, you're going to win the championship this season or you're going to get promoted, no one cares how you do it if you are bringing the trophies. But guys, this team was shocking. And not only that, the football, my goodness, I'll lie back and be sleeping. Thomas Tuchel ball was pretty much just sit back, wait, try and get a free kick and whip it to Koulibaly, whip it to Thiago Silva, someone just get ahead on it. So they've now got two Champions League with two teams that had absolutely no business being anywhere near there. I know people are going to get upset and say, oh, but we played good against Real Madrid, blah, 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 blah. I understand all of that. But again, let's keep it objective here. Kante was immense, immaculate. Like, that did wonders for his legacy that was already very high. But look at the past teams that have won this Champions League and tell me that version of Chelsea with Havertz scoring the winner belongs there. That's another thing actually I need to touch on. Havertz scoring the winner in the Champions League final. Someone who many Chelsea fans hate on, but obviously because he went to Arsenal, but even at the time they were hating on him. I remember he was shushing his own fans because they used to get onto him. What's crazy is that despite it being 75 mil or however much they paid, you'd argue it's worth it. And the exact same for Fernando Torres, right? We of course all loved him playing for Liverpool 07, 08, 09. He was incredible. 07, 08 specifically, when he bagged 24 goals, he was out of this world. We never saw that version at Chelsea. I think, was it within the first couple months, he went round De Gea at Old Trafford and missed the open goal? He was never the same. But then guess what? It doesn't matter. Because for that 50 million, ask any Chelsea fan, would you sign him again if it meant that he still goes and scores that goal at the Nou Camp? They'll tell you yes. So somehow it's yet another get out of jail free card. But then they had actual jail issues. They've won their second Champions League now. Roman Abramovich, sanctions. Marina Granovskaya, who I assume had a big hand in all these insane sales they're managing to make, getting I don't know how many million from Oscar to China, spawning in academy players, chucking them for 20-25 M's. They were all gone and Frank Lampard had to deal with a transfer ban. So at this point you're thinking, alright, Chelsea, massive respect for what you've done, huge club, but it's over now. Well, that is what you think. But like I said, these guys do things different. They do not operate on the same wavelength as every other team in the world. Do you guys remember Man City's window of 2017-2018? One of the highest expenditure windows we've ever seen. Let me read you the other 4 teams that make the top 5 highest spending windows in Premier League history. So in 5th, we have Chelsea 2020, 2021, City in 4th, and then only 3 teams ahead. Chelsea 2022-2023 summer, Chelsea 22-23 winter, and Chelsea 23-24. Todd Bowley and them men have come in, and they are still able to spend whatever amount of money they want. And despite that crazy spending, they went and finished 12th. I think you guys can see how the story goes because now we're getting to the last couple of years. So as always, we are not here for trolling or rage bait. This is not to anger Chelsea fans. If anything, take it as a compliment that we are saying your team does anything it takes to win. And I would also like to mention, of course, the fact that Chelsea, and I know you men are going to be, oh, but what about the sales, what about the sales? So I'm going to say also that they have raised the most amount of money in the last decade anyway. I don't care about researching data from even further than that. In the last 10 years, Chelsea have received the most money from sales in the last decade. Only, I believe it is Benfica and Monaco are the other teams that have raised over £1 billion. So yes, like, by all means, I understand why they have spent so much. But then you start seeing pictures of the changing rooms or in their gyms. There's like 30, 35, 40 men. And then the Chelsea fans are getting angry when you say like, yo, there are so many players here. You might have like 7 goalkeepers. I've just seen recently, one of your goalkeepers said, you know what, like he cut from Chelsea. The guy is going to be a soldier and fighting wars. What's going on? Why are they doing everything to find loopholes? This is the thing. They don't necessarily break rules here, but they push right to the limit of what's morally correct, legally correct. We start seeing these 10-year contracts and they're talking about amortization and paying it over certain years. Why are barbers talking about amortization fees like they are accountants? If I go and tell my man doing my retwist, yo, I'm going to pay you 20% now and upfront and the rest of it will be over 5 years, let me see if you're still going to be smiling. Nevertheless, we get to this season. They are of course playing Conference League because they were so bad last year that they've qualified for a tournament that, again, let's be completely honest, nobody wants to be in, right? I see the last 8 or last 16 bracket. I saw a badge, Cristiano Ronaldo FC. The badge was like Ronaldo's head or something. I don't even know what team that is. But yet, Chelsea's objective is just whatever's in front of you, try and win it. They pick up the Conference League and then they go to the Club World Cup. PSG, overwhelming favourites, they go and win that as well. Winning is just in these guys' DNA. It don't matter if it's morally correct. It don't matter if it's nice football or you're kind of betting the academy and letting players come through. These men just get things done. I need to know what's happening with their transfers because even as far as the Chelsea-Arsenal links are concerned, how is it possible that in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I don't even think Chelsea have beat Arsenal once. Why do Arsenal keep going to buy Chelsea's players? What is going on there? The only thing I can imagine is maybe they've got some kind of private investigators that work for Chelsea that have dug up dirt on all these clubs and they're saying, you know what? buy our player or we're gonna snitch. There's no other explanation for it. If I start listing you Chelsea's most expensive outgoings, you're gonna be seeing 70 mil, 75, 60s, 55, 50s, 45, 40s. We speak about Arsenal. Their second most expensive signing, Nicolas Anelka, 1999, 30 million. What is going on? I think since the emergence of Man City and PSG, people have kind of forgot about the whole oil money phase. So I want to know from you guys, are Chelsea ruining football or is this calm? If you're a rival fan, would you want your team to do this? Would you be happy taking gap years, having a stinker year, then winning a trophy, having a stinker year, winning a trophy? Or would you prefer seeing academy players come through and trying to do things the right way? Let me know your thoughts. Keep liking the videos. We're hitting a cool 500 likes per video now, so let's keep that going. And of course, if you've not subscribed already, keep that one coming because we are on the road to 100k plaque. This is the 9th upload in a row. I'm going to keep going for at least a month and we see how it goes. And lastly, if you want the retro shirts, we got a couple Chelsea players on there. Plenty of other designs on the website, free international shipping. We're now on IG as well, so follow there. Send me your pictures when the shirts arrive and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bosh.